and welcome back to Troll Time. I'm your host, Ivan D. Curtis, aka the Troll King, and this is a show where we talk about movies, sports, or anything thought provoking. This episode, we're back talking about the WNBA playoffs, the finals. To go along with that, we'll be talking about a little bit about Unrivaled, which is the new 3v3 that'll be going on after the season. And Monica McNutt and Chiney Ogwumike re-sign with ESPN with a multi-year deal. Two of the best analysts in the game, and we're gonna dive in on that for a little bit. My partner A Willie is out. Talk to him; he's getting better. He'll be back soon. But I got a chance to bring on another brother. It's like my little brother, man. We watched him grow up. We been on the 2K scene, the gaming scene. Worked in the industry together. He's doing big things that you'll find out here later on in the future. But I'm excited to have him on the show to talk some hoops. He got hoops DNA in his it's in his blood. It's Nicholas Gartrell. How you
Thanks
doing,
for
brother?
having me. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Honestly, obviously I've been watching your troll time and just getting in there, I asked a few questions and you answered them. Now I'm here and I get to talk about one of my actually WNBA I like more than the NBA. So obviously get to talk about something that I know and I truly care about. So
Yeah, man.
and then I get to talk to with you. That's
Yeah.
like honestly one of the best parts.
Hey, you asked to come on, and you thought I wasn't gonna have you on. I mean, I know you did, but I'm glad everything worked out. And plus, Nick, you know who, bro. Like, I mean, and you know the dub. I mean, you one of my brothers that I talked to about the WNBA, man. So you know what's going on. Just to dive right into it, man. We'll talk about Monica McNutt and China Ogwumike. Like I said, two of the best analysts, sideline reporters in the game. Re-signed with ESPN. I'm sure they're going to be around for a long time. I wish that Monica Manette was doing some of the finals games, but I'm sure in due time that'll happen. But I just love her enthusiasm. She's a former hooper, just like China Ogwumike, for number one pick back when she played in the WNBA. I didn't figure she was going to go back into the WNBA once she got on screen and really got the rocking and rolling on both sides of the spectrum because she talks NBA and WNBA just as well as Monica McNutt. But just your thoughts. You know what you? I know you. We talked about it before. You're a fan of Monica McNutt, but happy to see her on the screen. I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, Monica, I feel like I kind of grew up watching like Monica here and there on watching with my dad in the back, kind of just like her being on the show. So obviously a familiar face, and then have it. I'm gonna miss. I always try it. I always try to say it, but I think I'm gonna mess it up. Gumake. Um,
You got it.
I think me personally, um, obviously having an actual player's perspective on the court is much better because I actually like the style of having a player, having a coach, and having two analysts or broadcasters up there. I think that's a much better flow than just having players because it's kind of a one-sided view of it. So actually having her up there and how ESPN actually uses her I think is actually good. But obviously, it's sad that she won't be touching the court anytime soon. I think she's officially done with that. But it makes sense. She's so good at this. I'm very excited to see. And she clearly like she ain't what multi-year 4 years.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, I ain't even getting into the numbers. I'm just glad that they're gonna be around for a minute.
yeah,
I'll check that out later on through the show, and I try to follow that up on our last words. But no, it's always good to get a Hooper's perspective, especially a non-biased
yeah.
Hooper's perspective. But me personally, I don't have a problem with people being biased if you can be honest. Like, I mean, if that makes sense. I mean, most people when they being biased, they take logic and honesty and everything and like that and throw it out the window. But big ups to them. They'll be around for a minute. Maybe they'll have something to do with rival as well. Maybe. Who
Hey,
knows?
I mean, it's literally about the players for from the players. So I think why not have a player up there? And I mean, obviously, like looking around, like um, a lot of the female athletes definitely gravitate towards the female analysts, especially the ones that do a good job, like Ari Ivory, Monica McNutt. Like we can go down the list. I mean, we can get Autumn Johnson on there on Unrivaled. So like you have so many like good people for it, but I definitely see her taking a big usage rate in that. In my personal opinion, I don't know what they have done, but I would love to see her on there. I think she's very intelligent. She has great charisma. Like you love seeing her like on TV talking about basketball. She's like she knows exactly what she's talking about. So having her up there is big.
Yeah, now to get into that, Rivals is the three v three new league that has formed between Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, and they have actually it's going to be a roster of 30 players. The salaries range. I think the pool total is 3 million, but players will make at least $100,000 minimum, which is a big deal when you look at salaries that you talk about in the WNBA. Like this is a perfect side hustle, and then also it'll keep players in the states. So I
And
mean, that's a big
100%.
deal, and it's in Miami,
Yeah.
January 2025. So we get to see some women's hoops all throughout. What you think about that, Nick? I mean, you big fan of 3v3?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the 3v3, but I mean that just comes from 2K to be honest. But to actually for FIBA 3v3 is actually really good, and actually keeping the players here and actually paying the players is 10 times. I think this obviously stems a little bit from the Brittany Griner situation, but like actually keeping the players and paying the players here is better, and it's you're definitely paying the players. I think another part of it is like the some of the players that are playing in it, they are also being part of the founding parts of it. Like Instagram put out like obviously Brianna Stewart and Nafisa is part of it, but they said founding like they said other players are putting in pools into it. That's what I read, so that's very interesting. I'm curious how they're gonna run the 3v3 style. Is it gonna be like FIBA, or is it gonna? I believe they said it's gonna be like kind of like the full court style. So I'm curious how that full court. Are they gonna have coaches? Are players gonna be coaches? Are they gonna have guest coaches like Stephen A. Smith, like how they run it? So I'm so curious how they're gonna run it because we have the what's the other one that's running Dallas Athletes
Uh,
Unlimited.
yeah, the AU.
Yeah, so you have two things going on. So I hope it's like not too much competition and we actually get to see both. But definitely seeing some great 3v3 basketball and some great 5v5 basketball just before the season starts, and keeping these players here. I think that's just a much better for all of us.
No doubt. And I'm actually looking up. I watched a few AU games. I mean, I think that's 40 players overall. Um, that typically, I think, it actually goes right in before the actual WNBA season starts. So we're gonna be seeing hoop, man, for after December. We'll be watching it all the way to March. Not only that, but it's gonna be a log jam because NCAA women's, which is I'll start getting into that later on this month at the top of next month. But we're gonna be surrounded by some great women's basketball, pro and collegiate. So it's a good thing, man. Popularity of the game. The one thing that we always see in the WNBA is, man, the women make things happen. They making things shake. This
Hundred
is
percent.
a league that's primed by two of the best players in the WNBA. And then when you go down the list, man, real quick, you got Courtney Williams, you got BG, you got Tiffany Hayes, Shakira Austin, Brittany Sykes, Courtney Vandersloot. That kind of surprised me considering, how long she's been in the league. Like she's getting up there. But Natasha Cloud, Alicia Gray, Satu, Kalia Copper, Brian Howard, who played for the U.S. team in 3v3, Marike, which
Got
is
Angel
that's
Reese,
going to be tough to watch her in 3v3.
no problem.
Jewel Lloyd, Angel Reese, man,
Yeah.
she's playing, and that's probably going to be her style of game, man. Like 3v3 get a little physical out there. Jackie Young, Stewie, of course, Fee, of course,
They
Chelsea
haven't
Gray.
gone all 30, right? They haven't gone all 30 yet, right?
No, they still got 4 spots open.
So, question: do you think Caitlyn takes one of those spots or no?
Man,
I mean, if
I wish she would.
I thought it was, I felt like like this league is already star powered enough. So I'm not saying oh they need Caitlyn. At no point will they
Right, right,
ever
right.
need Caitlyn. But I was just saying like they dropped Angel Reese around like 17ish, right? So I'm like, Caitlyn is probably the biggest women's athlete right now. Is hot for sorry women's basketball because just of like recency bias towards it. I mean, she might be the 30th player, which would be crazy. Like you got, we're still missing four. I mean, we didn't even go down the list. Like these are just the stars that we're naming. So like, I think I'm very curious who the four are. I'm wondering if any of them are from the finals teams. Like any more from there. I mean, like they got like from in this finals alone, they got Courtney Williams, Kayla McBride, Fee, and then Brianna Stewart, and I'm missing one. I'm missing one on the. Oh,
Uh,
Vandersloot.
yeah, Vandersloot.
Do you think Sabrina gets a shot over there too as well, or is she already on there? No, no, she's not
No,
on
she
there.
not on there. I mean, she seemed like somebody that I mean, she enjoys her time off. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. She never played in the AU, so um, I don't know. I think she take her time out. But the Caitlin Clark situation that would be it'd be interesting. I mean, you got Rakia Jackson, another one of the top rookies. She's playing. Dejanay Carrington is playing. But honestly, I don't think Caitlin's gonna play. I think she's gonna work on her body, keep working on her game, because it's gonna be a heavy lift for Indiana, man. So, and I keep telling everybody, I'm not even about to make it about this portion about the fever or anything like that, but it's gonna be a tougher next go round, especially depending on who they get to come to Indiana. That's gonna be the key.
I
She's gonna be a phenomenal player, but you need other players to play with you if you want to be playing around this time of the year.
yeah, I think it's definitely very very interesting team. I think they need one more alternate scorer, like just one more like to give her some a little bit more help. I think Aaliyah Boston, like at first she was started off a little rough, then she finally got to it, which is what we believe that she should be. So like obviously we're not trying to make this about the fever, but going down that route, like once they get one more score, I think they'll be good, or maybe one more sharpshooter that like puts it maybe like a Rachel Banham, like who just came off like obviously she was on the Sun, but then she got traded to the Sky, so like maybe she might get a shot over there because I'll put another shooter over there who can create off one or two dribbles and go from there. But
They
like I
need
said, we're
they
not.
need they need you're right, they need to shoot, but they need two-way players. They need players that can hit shots and play defense.
Actually, you just reminded me. They need a player that like is ready to go for Caitlyn. Like
Yeah.
I was actually tired of watching her get like. Yes, it was good to like people like actually like play up to that level, but obviously we won't see anybody hurt. But there needs to be an enforcer like at all times. Like I'm a Draymond. I love Draymond. Like obviously playing against him probably a bigger problem, but having him on your team is somebody like nobody touches Steph Curry. You know what I mean? You always need to have somebody that hey, if you touch my star, we there. So I just felt like they didn't have that. So we can go up and down about how some teams roster construction. The only thing I really would love to be back for is when you talk about that when we get closer to the expansion draft and talk about what players are going to be protected and what players aren't and what teams should what like when should the Valkyrie should do and the trades and the free agency. So like I really want to come back for that part because I think that's a very tedious work about roster construction and all that. So
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, hey, hold me to it. Hold me to it. That's
all right,
December 5th or 6th. I think it's
six,
the 6th.
six, yeah.
Yeah, so hold me to it. Nah, no doubt. But make sure y'all check out Unrivaled. We got a while to be in January, but it'll be here before you know it. I'm really intrigued to see how it turns out. Like, and you made a good point, Nick. Whether it's the FIBA style or the full court style, and I'll dive more into it. I'm just a fan of hoop. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of 3v3, but if I'm watching the best players play 3v3, then I'm there.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think you know as much as I do, as much as how much I love Enrique. I think Enrique is one of the best players in women's basketball, just skill wise. Um, she can she can shoot. She can put the ball on the floor. I always felt like she should have been on Team USA. And like obviously when she played in that All Star game, she looked like she had something to prove, clearly. But like I really would love to see. I really want to see her in 3v3. I want to see Ryan Howard how she controls the floor, and how she gets to go because I wonder how much the 3v3 game is going to progress in their next game because, like obviously much smaller scale, but when we did in the 2K League with the 3v3, a lot of the you can see like the players that actually played, they added some of their skills. They actually added some of those skills to their bag. So I'm curious how much a 3v3 bag with the open floor is going to add into other players' bags.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And talking about players that have something to prove, man. Last night, we witnessed a instant classic. And ironically, me and Nick were in Discord watching the game uh, at the same time. So we talking back and forth about the game, and man, it was a treat. This start out, of course, the Liberty took Game 3 in clutch fashion, 80-77. Sabrina Ionescu knocked down a deep three to seal the game. She was scoreless throughout the game, but in the fourth quarter, she shot 2 for 4 from the three. Those two threes being the key threes that helped seal the game for the New York Liberty. They are now up 2-1. Just to run down some quick numbers, Stewie led all scorers with 30 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks, was 9 for 20 from the field, and 10 for 10 from the free throw line, which is something that we'll talk about later because it came up in the press conference after the game. Stewie does get the calls, man, but she earns them. But 30 points, Sabrina Ionescu, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Leona Febich, 13 points, as well as Jonquel Jones. Normally, I say the Liberty are in great shape when she's around a double-double, but she only grabbed 5 rebounds last night. And that pretty much the scoring power for the Liberty. Now, flip on over real quick, and I'm going to let you chime in, Nick, but the Minnesota Lynx was led by, of course, Nafisa Collier with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 steals. She's literally been showing why she was Defensive Player of the Year, even throughout the playoffs, whether it's steals, blocks, and rebounds or whatever. She's getting it done on both ends, and especially on the defense.
I don't
Kayla
even feel
McBride.
like my fault. I just want to jump in on the fee part real quick. I don't even think it's just the stats. The stats will never like this is where the advanced stat nerds need to come in. The jump balls that she has created through this whole entire series is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen by like a true star player. Cuz like usually you have like a like using men's basketball, Tony Allen, like somebody that's meant to go play defense, and somebody she's out there guarding the best player and then going to get the ball and trying to score. And then she's creating jump balls with Jonquel Jones, creating jump balls with Breonna Stewart and whoever. Like there was a stat in the beginning of the game. I don't know where the numbers had, but it was 13 jump balls throughout this series. I'm pretty sure I've watched at least 7 of them from just Fia alone. Her defense, I did say it like I was like, oh maybe like Fee and Asia like should be like we should have a question about how who should win defense player of the year. I take that. I put my foot in my mouth. I apologize straight up. Fee's award, she earned that, and I like obviously I said it privately, but I will say openly. You feel me? Like I did it privately, disrespect her. I will openly say, yo, dog, I must have not been watching the right games. So
No, I'm with you. I was one of those too. Just to finish off, Kayla McBride, 19 points. Uh, Came out, played really well. Bridget Carlton got him going early. She finished the game with 14 points. Lena Smith went down in the game. She ultimately came back, but I really think that affected her play. She only had 2 points, and that was off 2 free throws, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. They didn't really get the bench production that they normally get from the Minnesota. It wasn't efficient. Maisha Hines Allen, she finished with 4 points, and Delasini, she finished with 4 points, and they shot a total of 4 for 10, which is when I think about Minnesota, I think about them being really efficient, especially when you talk about scoring. But man, let's get to the play-by-play down the stretch. We talk about the fourth quarter. You go to around the last couple minutes. Actually, if we just go to the last minute and a half, it was a seesaw game back and forth. New York actually led at the 1.5 minute mark, and Then Sabrina knocked down a three with 55 seconds left to put them up four. And then Bridget Carlton scored, made it a 2-point game. And then eventually Nafisa Collier went to the line, knocked down two free throws to tie the game. And then, with 1 second left, Sabrina Ionescu that goes ISO and knocks down a 28-foot 3-point shot to seal the game. A deadly move. I think hit her with a sidestep and kind of got her off balance. And we was just saying. Now Nick was badgering a little bit because he was saying that basically Sabrina had went ghost. And I said,
Yo,
why she make some big? She gonna make a big shot. I didn't know it was gonna be two of them, but I
right
said,
wing
why she
shot.
make a big shot? I didn't think it was gonna be for the game. And lo and behold, when the shot went in, I kind of froze a little bit. I said, oh my god. And then and Nick was like, you called it. But man, um, give your thoughts on the game, Nick. I'm all talked out, but give your thoughts on the game and how you seen it from Nick's point of view.
From the fourth quarter, from top to bottom.
Just overall, just give your overall
Oh,
assessment of the game.
so this was the first time we ever seen the Lynx throw the first punch in the whole entire series. Like where they threw like they came out and threw a Mike Tyson punch the first quarter. And that was like, oh, okay, like they got it, right? Then we're going through the second quarter. I'm like, hold on, like it doesn't seem like a typical Lynx game. And now it feels like they were kind of playing a little sped up. Third quarter, the game got tight, and then I would say midway through the third quarter is when Brianna Stewart just became Brianna Stewart all of a sudden, like who we all thought she should be during the series, and started just scoring and doing everything. I mean, I do think she does get a little couple calls. Now, I will say because I'm gonna try to drop my bias as much as possible. If anybody does know me personally, I am a Lynx fan. And like she does get little calls, and I do look at it and be like, Fee doesn't get the same calls, which I feel like she's also a superstar, but it just doesn't look like I'm watching Fee get banged up. Like there was one time where Brianna Stewart got the block, but they smacked her hand and just nothing, and it's just like wow, like we needed those 2 points. So we go from there. But during the stretch, like I'm not the biggest Sabrina fan. I'm like she's great at basketball. Don't get twisted. If I'm saying this from a watching it. Like she would cook me on the court. Um, she typically goes go. She had 3 points in her last four quarters up into halftime, and she's not taking great shots in my opinion. And I'm telling Kurt that I'm like, yo, bro, like she's doing it again, right? But she hits that shot on the right wing, and then obviously the shot to end it. I thought Kayla played great defense most of the time. The only thing that I definitely disagreed with, from a coaching perspective, was the take foul so early. I felt like the take foul should be a little bit later, to give you a little bit less time. And I said that to you immediately as it happened. I
Shit,
think we
definitely
both said it at the
did.
same time. We were just like, whoa, 10 seconds, like at least get it down to six. Like let something happen and then wrap them up. But I mean, at the end of the day, like Kayla was playing great defense up until that point. Like she just hit her with a better move, and she just hit a shot. Um, and you tip your cap to that. Like she hit it from the logo. But I definitely think the series go five. I'm gonna guess that the Lynx actually start getting some calls, but I think the Lynx win the game by 1 point next one. But this one, it really came down to Brianna Stewart just being a superstar, and she just started taking over that game and like pretty much drug her team to the finish line, offensively and defensively. Like she was messing everything up, like long arms, lanky blocks, the boards that she was getting. I mean, I think if the Liberty win this one, like I'm sorry, if the Liberty gonna win the next one, I think John Quote Jones needs to get her in the paint and just take over because with Alana Smith being hurt, and that was kind of the long, lanky defender that was um, being able to kind of slow her down whenever like they throw a double team at her, and make her make that extra pass. I don't think they have that anymore. So if Jonquil Jones is gonna go straight up at some point instead of hanging out on the 3 point line, I think we'll actually like they'll actually have a better chance. But I feel like a huge like shout out to Naira Sabali, who played some really important minutes and played some great defense throughout the series. Like, I mean, sorry, during game three, I think there's a lot of times that bench players come in and especially in big games, and they just don't take a we don't look at their moments of how big it was. I think yeah, like we can easily look at the stat sheet and say Maisha had went 2 for 8, but she played some great defense on Jonquel. Same thing as Sabali. She came in and played great defense with switching and even hit like a nice like a nice jump shot like fade after a good stop. So I I I definitely think it comes down to like those bench players and if they're going to give quality minutes every single time for that game 4.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, I've been saying this about Jonquel Jones. I think, and even on my timeline or other people that I know that cover the W, especially on Facebook, is that um, she flirts around the 3 point line the entire game, and then most of the time she hacking. If she's not scoring and rebounding and playing a good game, she's in foul trouble a lot of the times. I think she can be more active and she can assert herself inside out instead of outside in. Um, Game 4, man. I think it's gonna be another epic game. That's Friday, 8 p.m. on ESPN. Back in Minnesota. I definitely, I don't see, man, I don't see Feed letting Minnesota go down. Not in their home court. I don't see it. I think that Elena Smith injury is going to be something to pay attention to because you're right. Without her, it kind of it kills their size, and that's when when the Liberty take over. They have one of the biggest front courts, if not the biggest front court in all of the WNBA. And then when you talk about their starting lineup, it's huge. When you talk about Menaja Laney Hamilton and Leona Fibich starting along with Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart and Jonquel Jones, that's a big and versatile lineup.
Yeah,
Um,
and Leone didn't. I hope I pronounced it correctly. She didn't even score in the game 2 where she started, where she came out and she only had 3 points. Like she got her first three in the fourth quarter on a fast break three where she stopped. Like her being on the court and just showing the length and like how much length that she has on the court is it's dangerous to the Lynx, and it's like that's what's really killing them right now because it's I think for this game 4, it's gonna come down to, in my opinion, how can the Lynx cover Jonquel Jones and how can they take advantage of Jonquel Jones? Because if Jonquel Jones and let's say Alana Smith is not gonna play a lot of minutes because due to injury, then Jonquel Jones is probably gonna go down more to the paint, and they throw a lot of double teams and make her throw that pass. So if she's actually doing a lot and takes a bigger load into the game, then typically after 4 up and downs, if you ever watch Jonquel Jones' body language, I always tell you all the time, like watching her people run up and down the court is very important. Um, I think with how much Coach Reeve runs horn sets, I think they run a lot of sets that get Jonquel moving and just attack that mismatch. I think that's really the key, getting Jonquel moving and getting her tired. Because then when she gets tired, she just stands on the 3 point line and doesn't go down to the paint. So I'm very curious how much the Lynx actually attack Jonquel Jones and then actually defend Jonquel Jones if Alana is not playing. And does Dorka actually get minutes towards this time and throw an extra body? Because Dorka's big, she's tall, so like she's not does not weigh as much as Jonquel, but she's 6'5". Like there, she's definitely going to be out there. I mean I would like to see her out there personally.
no, that's a good call because me and A Willie, like when we talked about it, like a lot of these teams they don't dive into the bench like at all. Like, and there's been some cases where you look at it. Actually, you got made me jog my mind. Dorcas 6'5", 191, and John
Jonquel's
Quill,
215.
yeah, buddy, 6'6",
Yeah.
215. So yeah, isn't she giving up almost 20 pounds, over 20 pounds? So
Yeah,
nah,
but
that
Alana's
but
183, so like, and she was guarding her with active hands. Like her and Fee have the most active hands I've seen out of a defender since like in my opinion, like I mean, I want to say Dangerfield, like Krista Dangerfield. She had active hands all the time, fast feet. She just wasn't like tall, but fast feet, active hands all the time. And Alana Smith and Fee, for both of those people, for both being tall, long, lanky people, like with the active hands, you tend to get lazy, but their hands are very, very important.
Nah, no doubt. That's 7'1" wingspan that Stewie is that has.
Oh my,
This one particular thing that you mentioned about the jump balls, I think she has 27 jump balls in this playoff run, and I think
27?
yes, and also Nafisa Collier is she holds now a record for the most points scored in a playoff run. So she's been
71.
getting it. That's saying a lot from your defensive player of the year. Another thing in New York, because you knew New York wasted no time after the victory on 34th Street. It's a big poster up over the subway with the your Nescu. Hey, I thought it was pretty good, man.
I, great marketing, but you know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, Nike did. Hey, they jumped on that and they got it up there, man. But no, man, it's Nick, man. First of all, I just want to thank you for coming on the show, and I definitely want to have you back, man. I may invite you on probably more often than you want to be, but thanks for coming on. I mean, we talk, like I said, we talk WNBA. We've been talk college football, NFL football, which I know you don't watch it. You don't watch a lot of football, but
Nah, you're much better. Everybody like I'm more of a baseball junkie and a WNBA junkie. Like those are my two things. I do watch football enough to have a educated decision, like and have like actual opinions on it, but not enough as like how I feel about the WNBA, where I feel very strongly, where I'm like I 100% know what I'm talking about all the time. Like sometimes like man, I don't even know what a spider two wide banana is and stuff like that. So we're talking about schemes. I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you about defensive schemes on the basketball court, and I can tell you about what's going on in the baseball game, especially with like the Subway Series that possibly could happen. This. I mean, the Yankees are down right now as we're talking right now, but like we there could be a great chance for the Subway Series. So if you talk about Subway Series, I will be there, like it or not.
hey, man, you know what I normally do with A Willie. Before we get out of here, I always ask him, "Do he got anything he want to get off his chest?" And this is a moment where you can, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be about the WNBA or anything like that, but just anything that you want to get off your chest. And if not, I just want you to tell people that's tuning in and for the first time probably seeing you, um, you know, speak on a little bit about what you do, man. People see the logos, man. They probably gonna be curious and things of that nature, but just tell people about yourself if you don't have anything to get off your
Yeah.
chest.
All right. Well, I'll tell people about myself before I get anything off my chest. I am a coach in the NBA 2K League. Currently work for Raptors Uprising. My first start was with OG King Kurt at Nets GC. We both helped build Nets GC, and he brought the product through fruition. I left after the first year. I went to the Timberwolves, and I would like to say I'm pretty decent at my job. I'm currently trying to work into more getting into I'm currently in the G League right now, so just doing my thing and just trying to make my way through basketball. I come from a basketball family, like all the way down from my grandfather playing with Wilt Chamberlain and my I want to say great uncle being Nate Thurmans and my dad being a basketball coach. So just kind of just basketball is in my blood. It's either being a flight attendant or a basketball like coach. So like I have no other options. I'm also just decent at video games. If you have any questions, you can find me on IG myck.g. I don't have Twitter anymore currently, and I don't use Facebook because that's for old people, unlike me. Like unlike Kurt over there, he's like
And
over there, but I'm
I'll
26.
protect you from the ageism comment.
Sorry. But anything off my chest, honestly, you know, I want to talk about the Yankees as much as it is, but I'm definitely gonna go back to the WNBA. I think yes, we focus a lot on the star power of the league, like between like Fee, Brianna Stewart, Jonquel, and Sabrina, right? Like we always constantly talk about that. But the role players that have been playing in this series have been one of the most amazing things. Like I would love for anybody to just watch Lainey tape. She's she's running around the court in game two like a lightning bolt. She went from the left wing to the right wing, dropped down to the paint. She might have fouled on the drop to the paint, but like she was a catalyst of why they won game 2. Obviously, she didn't go off that much, but her defensive presence it was so amazing. And I think Kayla Thorne minutes was actually really big in game 3. Um, but like like we're gonna look at stats. I don't think stats is always so important. All right, right. But like Maisha played great minutes down, like great defensive minutes. Like yes, she misses layups here and there, but her defensive minutes have always been there. Like her effort is always there, and I think that's very important. And like you can see Bridget Carlton and Kayla. Like Kayla McBride from the first quarter. Like yeah, everybody's gonna focus on the three at the end of the game. But look at the defensive pressure she was putting on Sabrina from the start of the game. She even got a jump ball to start the game. Bridget Carlton minutes and hitting the corner threes, and Natasha Heidman. Like they have been like Natasha didn't play that well in game 3, but game 2 and game 1 she's out there. She's playing very well, giving Courtney Williams a much needed break. So I think these role players are much bigger than like people point out because we're only looking at the star power. But these role players are just so big. And then looking at the future for the Lynx is even funnier, is even crazier because Dorka and Diamond Miller have both not been getting minutes. Like Diamond Miller got garbage minutes at the end of the game. Diamond Miller and I believe in Dorka as they're going to be both very big players, and I definitely see them like like in an expansion. Like I if like here next this year or the next year because Diamond Miller is also a very long, lanky player, and Dorka's 6'5", and you can't teach height. So the fact that like Diamond Miller's 6'3", long, lanky, like Brianna Stewart, like if she continues on her path of like getting better as a basketball player, I think she'd be a force. Like she's just a very she can turn into a Carrington type of player, and probably better in my opinion. She got grit. She's from New Jersey.
Well, man, my last words is, you know, I want to thank again Nicholas for coming on. Great guy, brothers for life. We talk pretty much every day. So this was perfect. I know he thought I wasn't going to have him on, but I'm definitely going to have him back. Hope you guys enjoyed him. Make sure y'all tap in to the show. Remember to subscribe, comment, like or dislike, and share it. And then also tune into the WNBA game. Game 4, I think it's going to be epic. We've been treated to a great game each and every night out. I don't see it being any different on Friday. And as I always say, if you don't remember anything else, I'm here to laugh, show love, promote, talk sports, movies, joke, and troll. Catch you on the next episode.